You are a guardian angel and designer. What the f is you talking about, man? You are not from Harlem. Why do you keep thinking that you are from Harlem, bro? You are not from Harlem. I did not grow up with you, man.
I was the CEO of Diplomats. I made Diplomats with him. I was with him for every bit of his journey. I held him down. I took that position of holding him down. And they know what I've done. Dance around it all they want and shit like that, joking, but they know if I get upset, it's gonna be a real problem.
Harlem sidewalks remember everything. The bragging rights won on playground blacktops. The mixtapes pushed from trunks. The boasts shouted over corner store speakers. So when Cameron, Jim Jones and MaSe reignited their three-way sparring match in 2025, the borough didn't just tune in. It leaned out of every brownstone window to watch. Because for 3 decades, these men have traded verses, favors, betrayals, and blurred out receipts, each insisting he, and he alone, carries Harlem's true passport. Tonight, we're diving headfirst into that maze of loyalty and resentment, tracing the path from teenage promise to million-dollar podcast deals to a $10 million boxing challenge. And by the end, you might realize the only clear winner in this war is the algorithm that can't stop recommending the next twist. But first, you need to understand how the Harlem crown even became worth bleeding for. Picture a Friday after school on 139th Street. A wiry Cameron Giles is lacing up for the Lincoln High game, half thinking about fast breaks, half thinking about the rhyme he scribbled in math class. Across town, his teammate Mason Mays Betha is doing the same. At night, they cram into a tiny studio with Big L, bloodshed, and a piston-lunged kid named Jones who'd rather hustle than hoop.
You was a fan. You begged us. You are a fan. A fan.
They call themselves Children of the Corn, loud, cocky, sure they'll die legends by 25. In those cramped sessions, the DNA of Harlem bravado is forged. Triple-time punchlines, basketball metaphors, and the unspoken rule that survival trumps friendship. Cam bags the slickest wordplay, MaSe polishes the melody, Jim guards the door, because not everyone who knocks deserves to come in. Each learns early that respect here isn't given. It's taken one bar, one brawl, one block at a time. Yet even in this raw brotherhood, tiny cracks appear. Cam's hunger to lead rubs MaSe's gospel-leaning conscience. Jim, still a fan on the edges, swallows envy as the other two chase record deals. No beef yet, but the map for future betrayal is penciled into every freestyle. And here's the first twist. Nobody involved understands how fiercely Harlem will demand provenance stamps later. But they will, oh, they will. Still, that empire hasn't even been built, and the first marble slab is about to drop.
MaSe taught me how to rap, and Cam always made sure I was on every single album he had. He was like, boy, once you figure out how to rap the same way you act in these streets, it's gonna work for you. Just keep going. And that's all so I always gotta give credit where credit is due and shit like that. It would be no Jim Jones.
Fast forward to the Millennium Switch. Cam signs to Rockefeller, buys a pink Range, and decides Dipset will be more than a crew. It'll be an ideology. Jim Jones, officially promoted from bodyguard to hype man, becomes the street muscle, the one who'll press up the mixtapes, clear a path through clubs, and, if necessary, empty an opponent's pockets without scratching the mink. MaSe, freshly off a multi-platinum run and a whirlwind detour into ministry, watches from the pews, then darts back into the booth when he smells new money. Dipset's visuals ignite like neon. Pink furs under winter sun, heavy Cuban links over Tim's, bird call ad-libs that echo up Lennox. Harlem kids rush Foot Locker to copy Cam's color palette while landlords blast Hey Ma at cookouts. For a while, everyone eats, and the city believes the diplomats will march in lockstep forever. But honor codes written in pink ink fade fast. Who owns the Dipset brand? Whose name should top the chain? And why does Jim, still the self-proclaimed muscle, feel his verses are getting louder cheers than Cam's? The marble is cracking, and by the next summer, fingers will point at the fault lines.
This shit ain't no game. They can't play with me too much. I give them the floor to do that because that serves me no purpose. I got too much to worry about, too much to do.
Summer 2005, Miami. A hotel lobby erupts when BMF affiliates confront Cam over unpaid favors. Stories differ. Some say Cam ducked out a side exit. Some swear Jim stood 10 toes in the sand outside, daring anyone to test Harlem's rep. Either way, rumors of somebody running through wet beach sand in designer jeans hit mixtape DVDs within hours. Suddenly, credibility, the commodity Dipset sells. looks pawn shop cheap. Cam claps back with kill a season, slipping subliminals at Jim about hidden contracts and white label checks. Jim retaliates by flooding the streets with Diary of a Summer, tossing subtle dices about pink bosses who forgot the muscles cost. MaSe flips the tension into pulpit parables, warning his flock that envy rots faster than flesh. What began as brothers chasing the same dream morphs into a chess match where every move is broadcast on Hot 97. Fans pick sides, blog comments ignite, and Harlem's barbershop chairs crack under the weight of conspiracy theories. Yet the three keep circling one another like planets destined to collide. Because the first reunion offer is about to land, and each handshake will hide a dagger.
MaSe need to go on a diet. He need to get his life together. He need to go to the doctor and get a physical. He looked terrible, bad body, back ass. He look big around the neck, waist look crazy. I'm body shaming this. You heard? He need to go get his together, get on the treadmill, do some push-ups, do something. You heard? Especially for playing with me.
2009, a surprise Dipset hug on stage. 2012, an Instagram truce under a hazy filter. 2017, a reunion tour poster plastered on every MTA pillar, then quietly yanked. The pattern is absurdly consistent. Public embrace, private voicemail rage, silence, rinse, repeat. Every time they link, nostalgia spikes streams. Every time they split, headlines double. Jim once jokes that their beef has a better work ethic than most rappers. Cam calls their friendship seasonal. MaSe? He cashes church checks Monday, studio checks Friday, and tells fans, "Pray for us, we're all still kids from 139th. But each soft apology leaves new scar tissue. Cam resents Jim's newfound stardom. Jim resents Cam's assumption of seniority. MaSe resents being cast as the preacher who ran. Their DM threads read like ceasefire treaties drafted in disappearing ink. And then the digital age hands them a new battleground where every slip goes viral before breakfast. Enter the podcast microphone, hotter than any diss track and way more lucrative. When Cam and MaSe launch, it is what it is, a trash talk sports show filmed in an orange-lit Harlem studio. Critics predict a few thousand views. Within 3 months, they pull six-figure sponsorships. By August 2023, they ink an 8-figure, 18-month contract with Underdog Fantasy. Jim watches the numbers climb and smirks publicly, yet privately he fumes. How you mention Harlem legends every episode but leave my name in the drafts, he asks on Power 105. Cam responds on air, calling Jim a part-time dip, and MaSe cackles off camera, fueling meme culture until hashtag Harlem Passport trends. Then comes 50 Cent's Madison Square Garden show, 2024. Fifth invites Jim to the stage, praising the real diplomat. Cam calls it checkmate on his podcast, labeling the move brilliant but devious. Suddenly fans debate Dipset lineage the way sports nerds debate who owns the 96 Bulls. And the views? They skyrocket, proving once more that conflict is the currency of clicks. Yet Jim isn't content to spar through Wi-Fi waves. He wants fists, pay-per-view lights, and a payday big enough to silence doubt forever. February 27th, 2025. On a Breakfast Club segment clipped for TikTok before the outro music ends, Jim Jones stares straight into the camera and declares, "Cam, I'll box your head off. 10 million on the table. Winner takes every dime." Harlem loves a fair fight, right? The internet convulses. Within hours, press mock-ups of a Barclays Center bout circulate. Fan-made posters pit Cam in pink gloves against Jim in crimson. MaSe posts a verse from Ecclesiastes, time to kill and a time to heal, and refuses further comment. Cam's response video drops that night. He sits beside a stack of vintage Dipset chains, sipping tea. "Bro, I got more important checks to chase. But if you need the clout cardio, run your laps." Viewers dissect every eyebrow twitch for hidden meaning. Meanwhile, rumor sites whisper that 50 Cent is executive producing a docuseries about the feud, complete with police reports, unreleased studio footage, and maybe even those infamous beach sand chase tapes. Cam neither confirms nor denies. Jim tweets a cryptic "papers soon." Harlem Twitter roasts both. Two uncles arguing over a mixtape nobody owns. Yet stream counts triple, and small label A&RS scour archives for unreleased Dipset verses. This isn't just drama, it's a cottage industry. But money solves little when pride keeps the invoice open. underneath the memes beats a brutal question. Who, in 2025, is Harlem's certified storyteller? Jim claims his blood-soaked bandanas prove it. Cam counters that Harlem royalty earns its stripes with metaphors, not muscles. MaSe positions himself as the born-again mediator, yet can't resist jabbing both when the choir isn't watching. On Hot 97, Jim reminds listeners that he once pulled Cam from a club exit before things got sticky. Cam fires back, recounting nights he covered studio rent while Jim played capo. Bloggers tally receipts like scorecards, but nobody can score credibility. It lives only in crowd memory. Each man drops new music packed with coded lines, references to BMF ladders, white label checks, pink phones that never rang. Fans freeze-frame genius annotations the way detectives study fingerprints. Yet for all the snarling, there's a shared fear. The legend dies if the other walks away. Harlem's triangle thrives on tension. Remove one point and the shape collapses. So the war continues, just loud enough to sell, just soft enough to stop real bullets. So, where does that leave us? 3 men, once teenage dreamers under playground lights, now middle-aged moguls juggling pastors, pod mics, and pay-per-view gloves. Their fight for Harlem legitimacy has outlived radio DJs, record stores, even some of their own mentors. They've watched friends owed D, rivals off themselves, accusations surfaced and faded, yet the Dipset saga endures because it taps into something personal. Everybody wants to belong someplace legendary. Will a televised boxing match finally stamp one passport and shred the others? Maybe. Will a docuseries expose receipts, so damning even the fiercest fan shrugs? Could be. But history suggests another outcome. The dispute resets, repackaged for whatever platform pays highest, and Harlem's Rumble becomes background music for tomorrow's scroll. As Cam likes to say, it is what it is. And in that shrug lies the real cliffhanger, because while fists might settle scores, stories never die. They just find the next algorithm to ride. So keep your notifications on. In the battle for Harlem's crown, the next episode is always loading.